It is I, host Eric. Um, feeling fine after a day full of really kind of intensive dental surgery. You see my temporary denture here. And you see that he just told me today that he's going to make an effort to make these teeth shorter and further up so that I don't have quite so much of an pronounced overbite, and also that I don't have top teeth that are so long they cover most of the bottom teeth. Now the thing is, this is not my permanent new teeth, and accordingly, it's not even attached to anything. Like, I do have the implants in there, but this is not attached to them yet. Currently, it's just attached with these lumps of um, like dental cement, basically, that he's attached to the back end of the thing and up to up to my palate. And accordingly, I actually speak less naturally now with this end than I did with just a couple of teeth. But this is temporary, and it's a different kind of speech problem, right? The last kind of speech problem I had was too much aspirants, uh, and I mean sibilants. Sorry, sibilants. I'm not wanting to say aspirants, but in this case, I'm actually not getting enough sibilants because it's the the holding it in place cement is intruding too much into the middle of my top palate for me to speak normally. But I do like the way they look already, and these are not even my final ones. These are just the temporary ones. They're going to be there for 4 to 6 months. So I'm impressed. I was impressed with the dentist. And perhaps most of all, Winston's mom, you asked why did I title this A Room at the Livestream Motel? Well, because this live stream, I'm just checking in with you. That's why. I'm just checking in. That's why I decided to title it that. We already left the hotel. We got it for last night and tonight, but we didn't stay there either of the nights. But Rachel stayed there all day today while she was waiting for me to get my surgery done. Then she brought an Uber driver over and came and picked me up when it was over. So I am going to go stand outside because that's typically what I do, when I'm live streaming. But I'm not going to smoke a cigarette. I haven't smoked any cigarettes at all today. Even before the dental surgery, I didn't smoke any.
You're live streaming.
Thanks, darling. Me too. Well, I feel so much more like, this is not as bad as I was expecting. Not even close to as bad. Including the sedation. I was quite concerned about the sedation. It was so pleasant, actually. It was just like super mild going to sleep. And then waking up super mild too. It's kind of crazy. I expected to be having a horrible time right now. Am I a sibilance man or an assonance man? Well, currently I'm a sibilant speech impediment too, or a syllabus speech impediment. That's a little different. I don't need a lighter because I'm not going out there to smoke cigarettes. I'm just going out there to stand outside. Because even though I can't get all of my live streaming habit, because keep in mind I do smoke a lot more when I'm live streaming than when I'm not. But it's both weed and and cigarettes, but tonight I'm not smoking any of those. Let's see. I did not sing I Want to Be Sedated. I did reiterate that I didn't want them to use nitrous oxide because it causes neuropathy. Should I remove the ick? All tricks, day 3 of Jerk 4 Kirk Challenge. I'm jerking it hard right now. Joe, have you been jerking it continuously for 4 days? Welcome to methamphetamine. I'm sure you're having a blast. It's not necessary to hide him quite yet, Winston's mom. I'm sure we will have to, but at the moment it's probably fine. He's on a 4-day long masturbation marathon. I'm sure his skin is all peeled off and everything. I'm not smoking anything. I don't need anything else. I just need my coffee, my eyes, myself. Meow. Oh, it's a black and white kitty. Hello. Hello. Meow. Yes. Yes, I know. Come here. Come. Come here. Yes, you're a good kitty. Yes, come here. Come here and let me pet you. Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. What a small cat you are. You're pretty clearly full-grown cat, because I've seen you around for a while now, and you haven't gotten any bigger. But you're a small, full-grown cat, that's for sure. You're smaller even than Capilla. Yeah. I'm talking about you, kitty. That cat's even smaller than Capilla. We are on the cruise we are. We're on the cruise we are on. Fair enough. Oh, meow. What a silly kitty. What a silly kitty. What do you want? You want more pets? You want me to feed you? You obviously belong to somebody you've got a collar on. Unlike our two cats. Meow. Yes, you're a good kitty. Okay, now you're running away. That's fine. I don't mind you running away. You sound like a person saying the word meow. Isn't it brick cold out? It's not that cold right now. No, it's 50 degrees. I was cold like all day, but now we're back home. We didn't feel quite so cold. All right, since I'm not out here for any particular reason, I'm going to go sit outside. So they took out that molar that the previous dentist had put a crown on. I'm going to call him tomorrow and say, you owe me $1,500 or $2,500, depending. Really, he owed me $2,500 because I got the crown put on that tooth contingent on me committing to his plan of action, which I signed off on and everything, you know. And certainly his prerogative to back out of that planned course of action. It's not a binding contract because, you know, it's a medical professional. At any point he could say, I just don't feel up to doing this task, you know, or whatever. But when I make decisions predicated on our agreement that he's going to do it, right? And then when I have to have work he did taken out, and I have to additionally pay a little bit more this time for the other dentist to do it because that dentist made it harder for the good dentist to do it, you know. In those instances, I think he really owes me $2,500 back of the $8,000 or so I mean, that's not a good reason for anybody to find anything credible or not credible, right? The fact that people a long time ago accepted it as credible, that's totally irrelevant to anything's credibility. Whether a long time ago they didn't accept it or whether they did, both are totally irrelevant to actual credibility. You know, you have to evaluate things on their actual merits. You can't just be like, oh, well, I already pre-decided that I'm on this side and ergo, yeah. It's like when Touch came in, right? Like yesterday, pretending to be somebody else, and was like, how could you possibly say that Carl Jung's not an INFJ when so many other people type him as an INFJ? Well, I gave the answer, which was the simplest one, you know. I don't type him as something other than INFJ. He types himself as such. As something other than, right? But once his mom put the more cogent point, you know, regardless what your appeal to popular sentiment going to do, you know, that's not indicative of anything. It's the kind of dumbass heuristic that Tut / Jeff Shaw would think is an example of TI somehow. That fucking guy, I tell you. He seems to be under the impression that we have some weird kind of evaluatory metric like well, if he can show that I'm wrong, then that makes him right or something. Which obviously is another idiotic thing to conclude. But that's my only explanation for his weird, persistent hateriness. Well, I mean, maybe some modern gays pretend like that. Like you in those days, for example, are pretending to make meaning out of this. And pretending to know something about modern gays and their agenda and how they misuse information. You're pretending to know that, but you obviously don't. That's not a knowable thing, right? There's no such thing as a monolithic group of modern gays who try to justify their homosexuality by pointing to the ancient Greeks. Even if they did, genetic fallacies occur in all walks of life. And that's what it's called, the genetic fallacy, you know. Finding some link is like, well, the Nazis did it, therefore it's bad, or the ancient Greeks did it, therefore it's good, you know. But that's not a reason to affirm or negate anything, right? Just because the cannibal tribe of Meow Island ate human beings for a long time doesn't mean it's a good thing to do. It's an incredibly dumb warrant, right? No matter who uses it and how they use it. That's the critical thing to remember. It's just as dumb when you say that the modern gays are wrong by pointing to the ancient Greeks because the ancient Greeks weren't actually like that. That's not why anybody pointing to the ancient Greeks is wrong on a normative issue at all. It doesn't matter whether they were factually like that or not, right? That's not where the fallacy is. Yes, well, you clearly have a goal here too, other than just correctness, which is the only acceptable goal. All other goals can suck my dick.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you didn't mean all gays, but the point is, you're still, regardless, even if you would qualify it, you're still trying to create a political agenda that's a bad guy because it's wrong about the past rather than because of its advocacy in and of itself. Some people think homosexuality is wrong. And they may have some kinds of reasons to think that. For example, it's completely arbitrary, subjective. I don't like them. That would be an acceptable reason, right? I'm scared of them because I might be gay myself and they frighten me. Perfectly acceptable reason to not like gays, okay? Those are acceptable reasons because they don't make claims they can't substantiate. Okay, but the problem is always the same thing. The problem is always the same thing. Lying, right? Or applying the wrong kind of argument to justify things is the other possible wrong thing. It's never anything else. It's either bad argumentation or lying. It's not an indictment of the group that's doing it or the individual that's doing it. It's an indictment of wrongness itself. When you cherry pick instances of this same kind of wrongness to delegitimize some group you want to delegitimize, that's not a good thing to do either. Oh, boy, I'm so habituated to. Okay, Hector and Achilles, that guy, they weren't gay. They were bi-curious. Anyway, I don't like group shit. Like, those darn yads are up to it again is one of my least favorite sentences. I also hate it when Putty Cat comes around with his, those darn food stamp getters are at it again. I also don't like that darn demon Trump is at it again. Worst president ever, blah, blah, blah. When, of course, you actually compare against presidents, you realize he's almost entirely harmless, has done not very much, provided you're not in the country illegally. You know, the guy's a joke of arbitrary executive branch dictates. It's a joke book that comprises nothing but arbitrary executive branch dictates. And we should view him as such, right? Idiotic? Yes. Contraindicative to the spirit and letter of American values and law? Yes. Actually harmful? Not compared against other presidents. Biden, equivalently, not harmful. So that's being honest instead of being outraged. And that's what everybody needs to do all the time. Well, I'm not saying the Greeks, Persians, Romans didn't talk about it. What I'm saying is it's not informative what they said regarding the normative question. That was very clear what I said when I said that. You know, that for you to misrepresent it as this means you weren't listening, you don't know how words are used, or you don't fucking care. What I indicated in no uncertain terms is it doesn't matter how much they talked about it. The only way any of them could ever be relevant about it is by making a relevant normative argument, which none of them did. Legally and socially accepting the erroneous beliefs? Who? Them? Who cares? That's history, right? We're not talking about what people did in the past, but what people should or should not do in the present. So don't bring up irrelevant data. You have to understand when you're asking and answering a specific question, you need to do that and not answer a different question that's not relevant. Well, that's great. Maybe the reason the ancient Greeks became just regular Greeks is because they all just butt-fucked themselves into non-existence. Maybe. And guess what? Totally irrelevant to everything. And this problem that people have with relevance issues is frustrating to me. Like, you have to be retarded to not see it because numerous attempts. Okay, no, Crown Raven, you'd have to be retarded to not understand what I was saying, which was not that ancient peoples didn't comment on it, or have thoughts on it, or practices related to it, but rather that none of those were relevant to any normative questions. Hi, simple girl. No, because there's absolutely zero reason. You first have to establish that what stabilized and destabilized society was reproductive practices outside of tracking practices within cultures and whether or not they became destabilized for multiple reasons. So, for example, if I say, well, look at the Romans. They got all full of debauchery, and Rome fell. Okay, well, that's not why Rome fell. It fell for a multitude of reasons, and probably the most predominant of them was welfare.
Oh, it wasn't because they were gay?
No. Shockingly, no. Hey, Jonathan Carpenter. When you start entitling citizens to cash payments as a means of keeping the peace with a legally defined minority that rules, you don't need any homosexuality to guarantee the downfall of your state, right? You've got an unsustainable system predicated on plunder, funding the lives of a class of people whose only justification for earning that is being a citizen of a country where citizenship is starkly limited to a few. So yeah, whenever you have a fundamentally economically unsustainable protocol for managing your empire, right? If you want to be an empire, you have to continue expanding and plundering more and more wealth from newer and newer places, right? But back then, transportation made that prohibitively expensive / impossible, so it got diminishing returns the further away they got from Rome. Okay, but yeah, but why start researching the ancient Greeks with homosexuality? Because what are you trying to prove here? That homosexuality ruins society? I mean, there are a lot of things that do ruin society, you know? Like double speak, propaganda, disinformation campaigns. And the failure of accountability forums to hold people accountable with words, right? That those things actually do ruin society because they're representations of ways in which we fail to uphold critical principles or values that allow freedom and what you might call democracy or some form of that to be empowered by its virtues. I know I heard a door getting scratched on. Where is Capilla?
She's not in the bedroom?
I thought I heard scratching on the door to come inside. Apparently not. Let me go turn up those lights up front. Boy, got started tonight. Somebody already got me. Meow. I didn't want to meow about things. I wanted to ho about presents. Well, Fly Guy, it's fine to not care about what BDSM goes on in my bedroom with Rachel, but you definitely need to care about what happened with the ancient Greeks. Because that matters. It matters to 0 people who are alive. Guns should be in vending machines. Well, I would guess that surprisingly little harm would come of that. But that's likely to do with high price points on firearms than anything else. But I would nevertheless oppose guns and vending machines, even though I'm a Second Amendment proponent and everything. Loaded vending machine guns. It would be fun to see what happens, I guess. But I just don't want any of those vending machines anywhere I go, particularly. I guess, if I walk in a place with a vending machine full of loaded guns, I'll think, well, when in Rome, I guess if everybody else is going to be buying loaded firearms from this vending machine, I better arm myself. I'll be automatically registered by the CCTV scanning you. Not if I wear a lifelike but fake mask. A 3D printed firearm for $50 in vending machines, and it comes preloaded and is only guaranteed to handle 1 magazine. Oh, like a disposable camera. What you're advocating for is vending machines filled with disposable cameras, except instead of cameras, they're guns.
You had a line. A line is half or
A quarter. A line is a quarter. 2 lines is a half.
Okay.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, some assembly required. Why? Why only inner cities? I mean, doesn't the same principle apply in every location?
Are you Jeff Shaw?
Probably.
I don't. I
Possibly.
actually really don't know.
I really don't know either. Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
I mean, this argument here is not typically a TE style argument.
It's true.
It's a very TI argument. Like, if he's doing it as a means of eliciting outraged response, he clearly doesn't know anything about TI. So,
okay.
it's possible.
I want to say I am stunned right now. You like, I thought you were going to be in bed for like 5 hours and in pain and like.
Me too.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad.
Me too. I'm TI the rapper, ironically, is TE dominant. I don't know anything about TI the rapper, but I'll take your word for it. Take your word for it.
Oh man.
Oh God. Look, Connor, Barbie, it's not that you are wrong that that person should be remembered because he was executed as a martyr to our political dysfunction, you know? But it's also the case that perpetrating further of the politics of outrage that engendered his death in the first place is just being more of the problem. If there are vending machines dispensing guns loaded with a magazine, then we could place our own vending machines right next to the gun vending machines and sell invisibility cloaks so the gunman can't see us. Well, if we have invisibility cloaks, I'm not sure how effective visibility cloaks are, but I am sure that we do actually have guns.
I will also say if we have loaded gun vending machines, then we definitely should have cigarette vending machines again.
Oh no, smoking's too bad.
Oh.
Smoking is very, very bad. Okay? Whereas guns, well, that's protected in the Second Amendment. You don't see smoking mentioned in the Constitution.
That's true.
Well, the Fly Guy points out you should have vending. If you're gonna have vending machines with guns, loaded guns, you should also have vending machines with body armor and like helmets and stuff.
Oh, so you're like fully loaded.
Yeah.
You could go into combat like right there.
Well, the unfortunate thing, Crown, is that even if that were true, it's not the case that governments can't exercise tyranny with a well-armed population. And in fact, if you look at some of the most well-armed populations in the world in the Middle East, they invariably have horrible, tyrannical, and theocratical governments, you know. So while it may be the case that disarming a population, it at the very least, it represents its own injustice, right? But it's not the case that leaving a population armed prevents injustice. We are no longer in the days of muskets and cavalry charges. Dulles, I like what you're thinking about. How about, I'm going to segue a little further. How about a giant gun that both works as a gun and as a vending machine? It's a giant gun that works as a giant gun, but that also works as a vending machine. It sells only dry things like chips, Funyuns, no cold beverages because the guns going to heat up when it fires, you know. The horrible Stygian smoke of the you know, we're in the days of insurgency and subterfuge. I mean, maybe it's never been more possible for someone to overthrow some government, some specific government, but it's absolutely counterfactual to say that across the board, the governments are more easy to overthrow now than they used to be. Incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. The more globalization you get, interconnectivity, reliability, you know, the reliance on reliable infrastructure stuff, then the the more you need stability. Everybody needs stability to do anything, you know. Be king of your own radioactive glass. I don't have any radioactive glass. And we are absolutely not in these days of insurgency and subterfuge. There were such days. That's how we can know we're not in those days, right? Like back in the day, there were the Black Panthers and the all these terrorist organizations like rob banks. There were those horrible Rajish people up in Oregon, etc. You can point to countless insurgent groups, all of which were bad, of course, and and point to the fact that that was a much more tumultuous era when it comes to those sort of things. That we finally reached a normalized and standardized understanding of what kind of groups uh, comprise like non-legitimate groups. Yep, that's my wife, Clippy.
Hi, Clippy.
She goes by the name of Rachel.
I do. Oh my gosh. I wish I remembered the joke that you came out with. It was so funny.
I don't even remember it.
Wow. I had no idea that you were out of it. I'm so clueless.
Well, I mean, I wasn't nearly as out of it coming out of it as I thought I would be, but I don't quite remember what I said. That instance, you know, maybe it comes back to you can remember. You can remind me. Not necessarily overthrowing the government is bad. Now, I mean, sometimes it's not bad, right? But like we can come up with clear examples of where it would be a good idea to regime change one way or another. North Korea, for example, right? North Korean people are deprived of all justice, liberty, etc. So in no way, shape, or form could their current state of government be any worse than it is. So obviously it would be beneficial for it to be different.
That's Clippy 11.
Leaving yourself with fewer options for the future is what I would call bad. Well, that's one very change-loving frame of reference, but personally, I don't want, for example, more woman options in the future. I want to know that this is my last woman for the rest of my life. And I certainly don't need more YouTube channels. I already have made like multiple of them, and this is the only one's really active. Granted, I'm not the same thing as cutting off possibilities from the future, which is somewhat different, but I'm just not quite as change loving as you are, perhaps, possibly because you might be younger than me. I don't know that if you are or not, but I would tend to say that people who are younger embrace a possibility rich future more heavily and a security rich future less heavily than older people. But I could be wrong about that. If you're a Soviet citizen, it's bad because that country broke up a long time ago. You need to pick a different country now. Topaz the kimono fox. You're a kimono fox, huh? Like kimonos that Japanese women wear? That kind of kimono? Let's not talk about Darfur. You know, in general, can we just respect the following rule? Africa schmafrica. Can we just respect that simple rule? Is that so bad? What TV shows are you currently watching? Great question. Why can't Tori read? I don't know why Tori can't read. TV shows I'm currently watching include. Well, I'm going to start with my YouTube things. I'm watching Tori's Cabinet of Curiosities. Well, at the moment, I actually have the football game on, and Chargers are up 10-6, but the Eagles are about to kick a 48-yard field goal attempt going into halftime, and he missed it. Chargers retain their 4-point lead.
It's the Chargers, right?
Yeah, Chargers. What did I say, the Rams?
No, I didn't hear correctly.
Oh, okay.
I just was wondering because I heard that what's his name, the quarterback for the Chargers, is back after a hand injury.
After just 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
We were watching that together on SportsCenter earlier. All right, so what else do I have going on the TV front? Well, in the next tab over, I've got this exciting looking video by Tor's Cabinets of Curiosities. It's called The 7 Lives of Siegfried and Roy. It's got a funny, like,
Are you watching closely? Yes.
it's got a funny, what do you call it? Thumbnail.
That is funny.
I never thought tigers would eat my face. All right, that's a funny. Did you know there's a patron saint of boobs?
No.
Or patron saint of Mexican cartels? Anyway, this Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities, if you've never watched it, I recommend it. I know I'm not subscribed under this one, but now I am. If I watch it often enough, I should be subscribed. So this is what it would sound like. This is what I would sound like from now on if I had gotten... I've been watching some of these Paul Van Scott videos where he goes like, the bottom Nielsen 10 from 1984 TV shows. Okay, I watch Walk With Me Tim. He's one of my faves. I watch this guy, the history guy, pretty regularly, but I don't tend to make it through a whole one of his videos, even though they're very informative. I don't know, something a little bit like taking a class-ish about it. I do watch a lot of Bretsky. I love Bretsky. He's entertaining. He blows shit tons of money, but he also wins big amounts of money too, you know. Obviously he's down overall, but he's got such good YouTube business that he makes all the money from YouTube that he gambles, you know. I recently started watching some of this guy. His name's Treehouse Detective. It doesn't show his channel name here, but and look, and there's Dreams He Smokes. This is Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities guy. Oh my goodness, Rachel. A very British Christmas.
A very British Christmas.
A couple nights ago, Rachel and I watched a movie called A Christmas in Scotland.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely terrible. Maybe going a little bit south from Scotland to Britain will improve it. This one's on the Holiday Movie Channel. We also watched another one. We watched another movie that was like that called Return to Christmas Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody ever heard of Return to Christmas Creek?
Yeah, has anyone heard of Return to...
No, Sage. No, they're not. I mean, when I am black, I am a distinct, objectively demarcated category. Sure. But that's objectively true, that I'm fluidly transracial. Other people are wrong about the nature of race and thinking that it's something specific, but you're right about me. My race, fluidly transracial, is in fact a distinct, objectively demarcated category of people. Well, in this age, it worked. You know, I can't always tell when someone's trying to trigger me or not. You know what we would be really meta if you started watching someone else's stream and we get them to watch the stream too. Whose stream am I going to watch? Let's see. Let's see what things are available. Do I live in California? Yes. We live in California. We live in Mariposa, California. And now we only have Bow's ring, Jeff. It's staking a claim is the answer. I like to watch these things sometimes too. Okay. Let's see this. This will be called Wheel of Fortune Fail videos.
Boy, $50 again. K. 1K.
It should be staking a claim.
You can buy a doll for $200 if you like. I would like to solve the puzzle. Oh, you can do that too. That's an option. Staking claim. That is incorrect.
Oh, she left out the Oh, she didn't see the You can see why I watch those, right?
They're funny.
Well, it's interesting to see what happens. Harrison Ford's broccoli joke. That's something I might click. I'm not going to right now, but something I could. I had this game, or Charlie had this game. I didn't have it. My friend Charlie had this game, and we played it. It was terrible. I remember from a kid being like, this is terrible. 1920s movie theaters were not what you think. So stop thinking you know what they were like. Here's a video on Roki Sasaki. Here's Noel Phillips, a YouTuber I watch fairly often. I watched this guy for the first time like yesterday. He's a pharmacist who tries out like super sketch pills you get at the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's a good idea. But see, this is the beautiful thing about YouTube. This guy here, he's like me, getting basically no views for his streams, 36 views streamed one day ago. But he's still being recommended to me among these other channels that have hundreds of thousands of either subs or views, you know. Christmas CEO.
Uh-oh.
I gotta go back to Christmas time to win a contest.
Oh, and that only came out 1 month ago.
I've been on a kick just recently on this like 80s stuff. This isn't normally in my results very much. Living in a tiny box apartment on an NYC roof. That's something I might watch. I also might watch I went backpacking with the fanciest gear you can buy. These are things I might watch. I've already watched that one, even though it doesn't show me as watching it, because sometimes I'm logged in and talking with fan people. I Talk Studios, I like their content. This particular topic I'm not very interested in, or it's poorly titled maybe, but I do tend to watch his content. Never seen this before, Destination Adventure, I don't think. The Black Record, I don't think I've ever watched this channel before. Professor of Rock. Why do I have 3 Professor of Rock videos? I don't watch this guy, but he gets recommended to me so often. There's a 4th. How the Victorians celebrated Christmas. Probably wouldn't watch that. 10 hotel features no longer seen today. Probably wouldn't watch that either. Obviously, sometimes we listen to music on YouTube. As per me. As per me. But not right now. That's not what we're doing right this second. So who else we got? Baseball's Not Dead. Frasier's Best Holiday Moments. House to Sound System. Santa Who? Full movie featuring Leslie Nielsen, Stephen Eckholt, and Robin Lively. But I think Rachel and I are kind of committed next, movie-wise. And maybe we'll do this in a little bit. I'll probably wrap this up about 10 minutes or so. About an hour, because, you know, I want to watch some things and try to get a good night's sleep as best I can. Try to continue not smoking for as long as I can here in order to give my mouth a chance to heal properly. I already took one of the antibiotics. I got to take another one before bed. I got to take 2 more of those little white pills before bed, which are anti-inflammatories. And was there something else? Oh, right. I've got the prescription strength pain pills. Thanks, Matrix Invader. It does look better, obviously, than it did before, even though these are not the final teeth. These are going to be my teeth until I get my actual teeth in. But the thing about these is this feels like having a denture, right? It takes up a lot of room in my mouth. It affects the way I speak in a way that I don't like. But this is temporary. As far as a looks perspective goes, if it was like this forever, I'd be perfectly fine with it looks wise. But it's gonna look better than this because the final one, it's made with like titanium and stuff, so, and it's screwed into the implants, so you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't take up any extra room besides what your regular teeth would take up. And what he said he's going to do, and he did do, and will continue to do, is he's made these teeth shorter. They weren't so long like they were before. And now it doesn't go down so far over my bottom teeth. So it's less of an extreme overbite. And I can chew better as well Well, I would be able to if I could chew it all with these. Yeah, I'm not supposed to chew it all with them for the first few days until everything heals up as best it can. So anyway, the third pill I have is the prescription strength pain pill, which I'll take if I need to. I took 3 ibuprofens a little while ago.
What movie are you planning on watching?
Well, so far I put 2 things out there on the table. Die Hard 2 or the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie.
I mean, that's a really hard choice.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
I mean, the thing is, in the last Christmas movie we watched, the Hallmark movie,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can do those things back to back.
That's true. Yeah, because it is I think she is. Oh no, it's Netflix, but it's a holiday movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Although, the good side about being on Netflix is we can watch it at 1.5 speed.
That's true.
Which you could do on YouTube as well, but I just didn't think about it, I guess. I know, we did watch some of the first one on fast speed. Oh, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And meow, 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 meow. Antibiotics is my new slang term for gays. Get a lot of those antibiotics. So what's wrong with people from California? I don't get it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why people don't like California. It's because it's become a reliable outrage button for people to push that will get payoff. Those Californians, oh my God, what is wrong with those people? They'll get that outrage response that people. That's what makes people popular, you know? You're not going to get very much of an audience by being correct about things. You're going to get an audience by being incorrect in the right way. And that is, those darn meows, and here's why they're bad, and here's why solutions are actually stopping those bad guys instead of solutions. Thanks, Winston's mom. I think today was not nearly as hard as we expected it to
Not
be.
at all. You're a great patient.
I did my best.
I mean, I thought I was gonna be like having to walk you.
Yeah, I thought so too. I guess that's the advantage of him bringing me out, you know, an hour out from you picking me up. It was over when he was starting to mess around with me and I was coming out of the sedation. He was like, said to one of the ladies, over an hour more, and I was just like, okay, I can already tell this is not gonna work. Because of course everything was super, super sore. He'd already done all of the main work, and what he was doing is he was fitting stuff a little bit, making a little adjustment, fitting a little bit more. So just going over, up, back, and on, and on, and on, and off the tender spot. And at some point I was just like, all right, I am nearing my limit here now. You got to either you're gonna have to either meow or meow. Flower time. It's not flower time for me. I am not smoking for the next at least couple few days, you know. And once I feel like it's safe to do that again, I'm still only going to be smoking joints or very easy hitting pipes for a while. I don't want to get any suction, you know. I don't have to be like pulling a bowl like that. I'm a weed eater. Well, I ate some weed earlier today. I had a line of syrup. One line of this syrup is about 25 milligrams. One line of this cup. One little line. Because there's 1,000 milligrams in just this one little bottle of syrup. Rachel had a double liner. Around the same time I had my single liner.
Didn't I have a single line?
I don't remember.
I did yesterday. I had a double line yesterday.
Oh, okay. I wish MS was recreational. MS? Multiple sclerosis? Don't worry, I just got recreational sclerosis. I could bake some brownies. I personally don't like I don't really like edibles that much. Although I'm fine with just like one line of that 25 milligrams worth. It's got a lot of lines on it, so you can differentiate a lot of different 25 milligrams worth. Is you say you wanted to do 175 milligrams, well, you could probably do it on that. Edibles is a foolish name. We should just say eatables. Why don't we just call them food? Even simpler. Edibles, eatables. You mean food? We already have a word for things you can eat. It's called food. It's like my grandmother used to say. If you can't smoke a blunt, you might as well do a fat line. Did you and I have the same grandmother? Because my grandmother used to say that too. Yeah, I'm enjoying some weed food this evening. Oh, you mean edibles? Yeah, the food is edible. Obviously, it's food. Muscular dystrophy is when you, Mr. Universe, and you're muscular and you get dystrophy. That's not what it means. Or you said eatable. Well, food's also eatable. Here's another guy I watch sometimes. This nice Christian boy, Antonio Guajardo. Occasionally you'll you hit on this YouTuber and you kind of know right away, like they give some sort of subtle cues that they're Christian, you know, and then you know pretty sure They're probably pretty hardcore Christian, but they don't make it part of their videos very much, you know. So anyway, he's one of those kind of people. Same with Desert Drifter was one of those kind of people. One of those kind of people. Eating zoos would go hard. Not just like an unscrupulous livestock market / restaurant. Ah, anything you want to chat about with the election before we wrap it up, Rachel?
No, I'm just like stunned.
I feel like all this talking is a little bit.
Okay, it's moving. Well, your jaw was open for what? How many hours? 9.
I'm thinking like 6.
Wow. Uber helped a lot today.
Yeah, we found out you can get Uber. Rachel
Yeah,
found out.
we can, and I think we could use it in town too. Let me look right now. If we want an Uber from here to Pioneer, okay, 71792 to Pioneer. No. Pioneer Market.
I too am comforted by religiously ambiguous bald men. Wow, that's something we share. That's something we share.
Okay, it's like incredibly expensive.
What is?
From our house to Mariposa to Pioneer Market is $31.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
If you're going round trip, that's a $60 car ride.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's good for emergencies.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. And then it also makes you think that if you have the chance, it's a good idea to say to the neighbors first, are you guys going into town anytime today? And, you know.
No.
Well, I'm saying,
Before
let's
getting.
say you wanted to get an Uber into town.
Yeah.
And you needed to get to town and you were going to do that, or you wanted to go back and you were going to do that. It would be a good idea to contact the neighbors first, see if they're home, and ask them, "Are you going into town?"
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think like Uber is more like a last minute sort of thing, you know?
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, but it definitely helped today, and it was like $13. Course Gold and I think Oakhurst has more people who are involved with Uber. Cause like Eric asked if like it's very common for Uber drivers to be in like Course Gold, and the guy said no, that there's only a few. But still, I mean, that's really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that it's pricey because it takes a long time to get back here.
Mm-hmm.
Guinea pig is delicious. Ugh. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm already finding this, uh, this denture annoying, in that it's worse than missing teeth, but I haven't started getting adjusted to it yet. I suggested to my ex we eat her guinea pig, and now she's my ex. Honestly, kind of hard to describe. Didn't help that I never had anything seasoned like it again. It was in Peru. Kind of like squirrel, but fattier. Well, you know what they say. Guinea pigs are the squirrels of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll see you in the coming days and weeks for sure, but I will be anxious to get this bulky thing in my mouth out of my mouth and be fully empowered to speak normally again. Obviously, I'm going to have to do some adjusting as well because the shape and arrangement of my teeth is different than it naturally is. He tried to fix things, which I appreciate a lot. I think he's done a great job.
He has.
Yeah, I sound fine. I, I'm having to work hard to sound as normal as possible, and I'm having to take pauses to make sure that I don't over aspirate, under aspirate, etc. Yeah, my tongue will get used to the new shape, and then when I get the real teeth in, I'll be like, oh, how strange.
Mm-hmm.
But I sound like if I'm not compensating actively for the sound of old man with denture in his mouth, then that's what I will sound like. Anyway, thanks for being here. I love you all. You're wonderful people, and you make life complete for me and my beloved wife, Rachel.
Yes.